He stood in front of the server rack, squinting like it was some kind of cheap stage prop. "All this just to look pretty? My daughter's nightlight does more," he laughed, loud enough for the entire department to hear. They laughed too, nervously. Not because it was funny, but because power demands an audience. I didn't. I just closed my laptop, slow, deliberate. That single motion was my answer. 18 minutes later, when the screens went black, when the phones stopped ringing, when the heart of the company flatlined, panic replaced arrogance. And when the CEO sprinted to my empty desk, sweat dripping, breath shallow, he found the post-it I'd left behind. One sentence, that's all. He read it once, then again, and turned pale. Not because of the words, but because he realized exactly what they meant. And the new VP? He stopped smirking. His hand gripped the chair so tight his knuckles cracked. Because he knew. This wasn't a joke anymore. This was war. I wasn't always like this. Cold, calculated, unforgiving. When I first joined, I believed in what we were building. Nights spent debugging in silence, the hum of servers as my lullaby, the glow of monitors my only sun. I wasn't just an employee. I was the architect, the unseen backbone. Every heartbeat of data, every encrypted transaction, every redundant failover, mine. Then came him, the new vice president. Charisma polished, arrogance disguised as charm. He didn't build. He didn't design. He didn't understand. He only managed. At first, I thought it was just ignorance, a man trying to stake his territory, peacocking in front of the staff. But then I saw the changes. The budget cuts, my team's requests denied while his office furniture gleamed with imported wood. The private contractors, strangers granted admin credentials to systems they barely knew. And the meetings, always the meetings, where he spoke over me, reducing years of my work into bullet points for shareholders. But the final blow wasn't public. It was private. I overheard him in the glass conference room, voice dripping with disdain. He's replaceable. A glorified janitor for blinking lights. Anyone with a degree could do what he does. A janitor. That was the moment. The shift. The betrayal wasn't just disrespect. It was erasure. My name stripped from the foundation I poured my life into. I didn't rage. I didn't plead. I planned. First, I studied his ignorance. He thought the servers were just machines, not arteries. He thought redundancy meant invincibility. He thought cloud meant untouchable. He didn't realize every safeguard, every backdoor, every access key. They were mine, buried deep, hidden like veins beneath skin. Second, I prepared the silence. No sudden moves, no arguments, no warnings. I nodded in meetings. I complied with his pointless requests. I let him believe I was beaten. That's the mistake of men like him. They mistake composure for weakness. Third, I built the failsafe. A single sequence. Nothing destructive, never destructive. I wasn't there to burn the company down. I was there to remind them who held the matches. The day came fast. His joke was the trigger. All this just to look pretty? He thought he was mocking me, but in truth, he was signing the execution order. I pressed a single command, logged out, closed the laptop, walked away. 18 minutes later, silence swallowed the floor. Customer calls dropped mid-sentence. Transactions froze in limbo. Supply chains staggered like broken marionettes. Chaos is loud, but failure? Failure is quiet. The CEO burst out of his glass tower, hair wild, tie loose, barking at assistants who couldn't answer. He spotted my desk, empty, except for the post-it. His hand trembled as he peeled it up. It read, Paragraph 12, Emergency Custodial Clause. 2 years ago, buried in the fine print of my contract, I'd insisted on a clause. Nobody cared then, it was just legal filler. But that paragraph gave me one power. In case of a system-wide emergency caused by executive negligence, full custodial control of all systems reverted to me, the lead architect. It wasn't sabotage, it was succession. And now, with the servers down, with millions bleeding by the second, negligence was undeniable. The CEO turned to the VP, his face ash. "What did you do?" he whispered. Not to me, to him. Because suddenly, it wasn't my failure, it was his. And when the CEO realized the only path to restoration ran through me, his panic shifted into fear. Not of the outage, but of losing me. They called me back, of course, groveling, bargaining. The VP avoided my eyes. His earlier smirk shattered into silence. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't gloat. I simply walked back in, placed my laptop on the desk, and restored the system with a few keystrokes. The hum returned. Lights flickered back to life. Relief rippled through the floor like oxygen.